Well, well, well. Look at you. Welcome back, you handsome devil. Welcome back to the Wicked Wild, and welcome to 2023. And let me just say right off the jump that you are looking fantastic this evening. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the same outfit I saw you in Saturday, and that means you are doing everything right. So, congratulations, you champion, wherever you are. As is our tradition in this country, we have started off the year by making horrible decisions, having some of the worst hangovers, and regretting our life decisions. So this is our way. We hope you have joined us in that. By the way, you just look great. And I want to shout out especially you, Dave, Jamie's friend. You look fantastic, dude. Hope you had a little time off. And of course, John's friend, the bartender, whose name I don't know.
Dee Dee.
I'm sure you had a rough weekend. I hope you're recovering nicely, Dee Dee. And hope you enjoyed this episode. Little something we put together special for us to kick off the new year, talking about one of the movies that we all are desperately in love with. We're going to get into that in a minute. First, we're going to talk to each of our hosts, see how they're doing, how they're recovering from all of the holiday festivities. Jamie up in New York, New York. I think they do a New Year's thing up there every once in a while, don't they?
Yeah, I heard they do. I've never been to it, but
yeah, I'd say that's a bunker inn for the locals.
Oh my God, I'm sure there are some that have done it, but I don't think I've ever spoken to someone who lives here who's actually done it.
Gone down.
Yeah.
So, important question for you: are you looking forward to talking about your favorite alien? What you would say, what we learned on the Nope episode, is the GOAT alien design. Are you looking forward to talking about your xenomorph?
Yes, absolutely.
The only alien you ever care to talk about, I'm assuming?
Yes, you are correct. And I think I've made that statement before.
So tonight's a special night. We've got Jamie in the science fiction state of mind.
It's one of the only science fiction.
It's going to be a good one.
That's got to be a lie, but it's the only one I think of usually. Yeah. So
it is iconic.
Yes.
It is seared into our memory. I can't even talk. My tongue is still numb from the weekend. So John, up in Chicago, Michigan. We still have to pull that.
We're not letting this die in 2020.
Exactly. Never.
So I had a thought as I was watching this for the 300th time as we're going through stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So would you be honest with me? I mean, it's not like our entire fandom is listening to you right now, but be honest.
Sure.
Would you have executed Special Order 937? I mean, are you down to clown and make sure the corpos get their alien prize?
I mean, does it mean that I get my own pet?
All crew are expendable.
I mean, if I get my own pet xenomorph, yeah. I mean, we're gonna be bringing that mother trucker back to home, and we're gonna be. I mean, I'll be honest. This movie is so special to me in so many different ways, and it's just the best. But yes, no, I would definitely bring one back if I could.
No, he's gonna get handed over for like testing and like.
I didn't say I would hand it over, Jamie.
You would have. They'd kill you before you would keep that thing.
But it's gonna go John Wick with
this
the
is
alien.
Already starting an argument.
me and the xenomorph, if we're cool, I'm pretty sure it can take out everything else. So
y'all are gonna hash a plan on the way back.
Yeah,
John, do you want an alien playing around your guts? Because that's how it sounds like you have an alien playing around your guts.
No, I'm gonna invite my friend that's not really my friend and let him have the chest burster, and then we'll bring back the full size xenomorph, and Jamie and I will hang out with the xenomorph, and it will kill all the corporations. Are you talking about that
kid who you went to a sleepover back when you were a kid?
Jeff?
Jeff. You talking about Jeff?
I'd be good with that.
And your love of Friday the 13th Part 3?
No. See, that was traumatic. See, this also had a traumatic experience in my childhood. However, it was for the positive because I love this movie.
I don't think Jeff's gonna like that you described him as your friend, not friend. Just throw that out there.
Jeff is not really that. I mean, I know the kid's name that I went to the sleepover, but I'm not about to dox him.
We're going to get you to slip up and say this guy's name. That's our new game. We're going to get you to out this guy, this poor guy.
You don't want to do that to Jeff. Yeah.
I mean, yes, it is
We've
totally
already
Jeff.
done that to
Jeff. Jeff is totally that kid, and I would totally use him as my human. I guess, embryonic
Mule.
for my
Your alien
xenomorph pet.
I don't think Jeff's gonna appreciate that.
John, do you want ants? Because that's how you get ants.
It's true. But I mean, Jamie likes xenomorphs. I like xenomorphs. And if we're going to hang out with a xenomorph, that's how we got to do it. Sorry, Jeff.
Well, now you know, Jeff. I hope you listen to the main show because there's some knowledge you're going to be needing in the near future.
That's all right.
And then last but certainly not least, we have our very own Mole King up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Elijah Woods. How's it going, Eli?
Oh, sitting here living the dream. A little disappointed when you were talking about good looking. I thought you were talking about me and then talk about a bunch of other people I don't know. So that cut me straight in the heart a little bit. But it's the year of the Mole King.
That I gave compliments to randos instead of you?
Yeah, not me, but whatever,
You watch Eli's face while you were doing that? He's glowing until you
yeah. Just I felt my heart drop a little bit. But you know what? It's the year of the Mole King. Nothing got rain on my parade.
22, Eli? Was 22 not the year of the Mole King?
That was the start of the Mole King.
That was the
This
prequel.
is the year of the Mole King. I already know what this year's going to come.
So that was 0 year. This is year 1.
Yeah, I'm taking over the world.
Oh, okay.
I feel it in my bones. This year, someone's going to reach out to me in one of the holy meccas of paranormal, crypto places.
Is that person's name Jeff?
No, that's your best friend. Okay.
And because it's a new year, fresh starts, I am going to make another special shout out to John's friend Sarah. I'm still David, and I'm still here. So,
she's gonna. You know what?
Dave is still here.
Oh man, she's gonna feel so special.
But how's she gonna feel known about Jeff now?
She's probably going to write him a letter of warning.
Yeah.
So, as we've kind of talked all over, we are talking about Ridley Scott's masterpiece. And that wasn't a question or rhetorical. It is his masterpiece called Alien. Came out in 1979. But before we jump in, we're going to do, as we always do, our on-the-fly synopsis. My other hosts have no idea who's going to be giving us a quick synopsis of this movie. They always like to be caught off guard. And I'm going to let Jaime kick us off this week by making the selection. So my question for you, Jaime, is facehugger, chest burster, or xenomorph?
What is my choice? Am I xenomorph? No, xenomorph.
Xenomorph?
Xenomorph, yeah.
John, you are up, my man.
Full size xenomorph. Maybe
was I the face hugger? Because I'm gonna be a little upset.
I knew you were going to ask, and I'm not going to answer.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
I would say Eli's probably the chest burster.
I would say
That's
the
just
chest
me.
burster also.
Why? Because I fill your heart with goodness to burst out.
That's not what I was thinking. But
No, basically you rip all of our hearts out.
Well, you know what?
He's okay with that, too.
You shouldn't choose to be the way that you are. Okay, I wouldn't have to.
That's a fair point.
Of all the things you could choose to be, John, you chose that. So that's what you get. Me just bursting your heart out.
He's just mad that you got to be the xenomorph.
A little bit. All right.
That's
A
true.
little bit.
Yes.
I was
I'm
just
so
going
happy.
with that Eli's like bursting of energy. Like he's just
Oh,
bursting out of...
you know what?
That's so
Hey,
sweet.
you know what also year 2023 is?
I know, this year
You're
is...
Trucy's.
Oh,
What's this
Lord.
is?
I was just thinking that he's the one who looks most like a metal penis jumping out of somebody's chest.
Whoa.
That's just me.
You know what? First off, that's a sign of fertility. And I'm going to take that as a compliment.
is.
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
This year's
I'm
starting
taking
great, guys.
The power away from you, Dave. This year,
I
I'm
thought
taking
we were talking about
the power
Alien,
away
not
from you.
Titan.
John, tell us the brief synopsis of this movie.
Okay. All right. Synopsizing. The wonderful classic known as just purely Alien. Such a great title to start off. Like that's just, it's so pure. It's so wonderful. So anyways, we have wonderful space truckers out in the middle of nowhere, and they get a wonderful signal that says, hey, stop on here. We need your help. And then they stop, wake up to sleep, and they go to this derelict planet, and they find some wonderful eggs, and something attaches to a dude's face. He gets brought on board against Sigourney Weaver's wonderful Ripley character's orders not to, and all hell breaks loose on top of the ship known as Nostromo, one of the most iconic names and ships ever in sci-fi horror history. It is the best. And the xenomorph, iconic character, also gets birthed out of a dude's chest, just like Eli's wonderful campfire tales every week. just explodes onto the podcast scene every week.
He sure
Hey,
does.
don't try to suck up me now. Too late.
I'm just saying that's your energy. That's why
You
you're
left
the
out
chest
the most
burster.
important character.
Exactly.
Jonesy.
Yeah.
Jonesy is our wonderful cat hero. And
Yes.
if you're happening to watching the YouTube version, you can see Jamie's wonderful background where the cutesy Jonesy and Xenomorph are playing like spaceship in their box
Yeah, in a box. Yeah.
on the Nostromo.
That's what cats do.
It's-
So I would assume that's what a little xenomorph does too.
Hashtag adorable.
hmm
Hashtag Mole King 2023.
So are we all in agreement here? Is if somebody has a yellow tabby and its name isn't Jonesy, they're not living their life right?
No, not at all. I mean, well, yes. However,
Just
With
like
the
if they have a
caveat
Russian
that,
blue,
like-
it's got to be church, right?
exactly. But yeah,
That's fair.
yes. But I wonder how played out then that name becomes, and then you're just like, how many Jonesies can there be? But I guess it's also just a
Are
specific
there enough-
genre of people.
Are there enough
That's-
Jonesies,
that's
Jamie?
what- well, I guess not. You're right. You're right.
Speaking to Jonesy, I just love the fact that Ripley, like, Jonesy wasn't Ripley's cat. It was, I can't even remember the guy's name. I'm a terrible fan. It's our homeboy that gets got, like, looking for Jonesy. Like, that's like his cat. And then
Oh,
It's
Brett.
not just. It's not like the ship cat.
Brett, Harry Dane
it
Stanton?
kind of is, but yeah. It's like, it is Harry's, like, that's his boy
Mhm.
because he's going looking after Jonesy.
Yeah, he's
Like,
the only
yeah.
one in the beginning that actually cares to go find the cat.
Right.
So he's the hero.
I mean, that would be the number one priority.
I was
You
going to
know.
bring out all my like action figures for this episode, but I'm like, there's just too many. I can't do that. I love this movie. This movie's great. But Dave,
Well-
I will throw it back to you.
Well, I'm going to throw it back to you because
Ooh,
obviously
okay.
I don't know the
Ooh.
the randomizer just worked out this way with the on the fly
man.
synopsis, but I am going to let you jump off with your overall thoughts. You know, when did you first see this? How did it impact you? What is your overall thoughts on Ridley Scott's The Alien?
Well, we'll see. My boy Jeff had a sleepover, and no, jokes aside, no. I was way too young to see this. I want to say like 9 or 10 years old. I begged my parents to see this because I'd seen the image of the alien. If you can see behind me on YouTube, you can kind of see what that looks. And it is so engrossing, and the imagery is like it's iconic, and it just kind of grips you, and your imagination goes crazy. So I begged to watch this, and finally my parents were letting let me watch it, and I was scared out of my ever loving mind. And then ever since then, I've probably watched it minimum once, maybe twice a year ever since then. So I've probably seen it. Now I'm showing my age, probably upwards of 50 times, and I still watch it it's just so good. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, it's an unforgettable silhouette. I mean, if you just saw the black silhouette of the xenomorph, you'd know exactly what it was. There's no question. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Tom Skerritt when he gets the like the
It's-
hands, like
it's a penis.
Sure is.
It's-
With a
Everyone
mouth
loves
and a
it.
mouth.
It's a penis.
with two mouths.
2 penises.
Bringing in the new year with a penis. We're talking a lot about penises tonight.
You know,
I mean, we're talking about Geiger's artwork. What do
Exactly,
you want?
yeah.
Like, is that even how you say it? Is it Guy? It is said like that, right? No.
Mhm.
Geiger,
Anyway,
Giger.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
That's what I'm saying.
We all know who
Anyway.
you're talking about.
Anyway. Yeah.
I mean, basically, if it's genitalia, he's making art about it.
Yeah.
He's there to celebrate it in airbrush. So Eli,
Oh yeah.
tell us what your thoughts are on this one.
I've watched this movie more times than I count. I watched this at a young age. I love Alien a lot. The way it looks for like it's supposed to be like this futuristic film, but it looks so realistic, and like there's a grittiness to it where like I feel that a lot of other movies that when you look in the future like that, everything's like so shiny and like white and bright, and where this was like real dark and gritty, and it almost gave it a more real, like there's more realism feel to it. The characters are fantastic. The plot, once again, I feel like a lot of futuristic movies, their plots tend to get convoluted, where this one was just kind of like simple and really easy to follow. The effects look great. That alien, the creature, and all aspects of the creature is iconic. And they all look good. Like they did a fantastic job designing the creature. The music in this like really sets up like the tone. And I know like there's this argument where Jaws and Aliens the same movie, but I don't feel it's the same movie, but it has the same effect where you got lost because it was a tight, small area a lot of times where they were in, and you had no clue where it was coming from. And like those cameras, they'd switch down these like small, tight corridors and things like that. Like even as a viewer, the way they do it, you're like, oh my God, where are we going? It's like the tension they build up. And like there's at times where I love Jaws, but I almost feel at times like whereas Jaws, like you're in the ocean, and I feel like you don't know which way the shark's coming, but like you're thinking, if I can just swim fast enough. But where sometimes where Alien gets me is like it's so tight, I'm like, my muffin shaped ass isn't crawling in a lot of these places. So I'm going to be like the second one to die. So I love it. Like everything about this from start to end. And like Ripley was like a truly badass final girl. She didn't want to do it for nobody. It was her and that cat. She's just whooping ass, which I enjoy because I don't have to deal with no like, oh, save me, some generic like punk boy name, Steve. So, like, you know what I mean? Like she was just like, no, I love this movie. It's just right there, right in my heart.
Well, and to your point, and I hadn't really thought about it, you had Star Wars that came out a year before this, and that's very much the damsel in distress,
right,
kind of story by comparison.
And the other thing too, like with Star Wars, where like because some people argue like, well, you know, it's not that bright futuristic, but like everything was so wide and large in Star Wars and like grand, like I feel like it kind of went that same trope where like the future is grand, which that may not be the future because it was in the past a long time ago. Like I get it, you nerds, I get it.
Put your keyboards down.
Yeah, but I'm considering it the future because they had fucking laser swords. Okay, like come on. But like where this, like it kept it like real nitty gritty, and like almost kind of reminds you of if anybody's like a fan, like the
it's like
Warhammer.
Claustrophobic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'm just saying, like, genre wise, like it felt like 40K ish. Like if you're a fan, like 40K, grim dark, like they're on a salvage ship. So it's not even like they were doing anything cool in space. Mm-hmm. You know, like they're still cleaning up shit.
Mm-hmm. Just a bunch of space truckers.
Yeah. Just a bunch of space truckers.
Yeah.
Smoking on their ship. They don't give a fuck.
Jaime?
Seriously.
As a surprise to no one, and like everybody else on the planet, I love this movie. Do I possibly like the second one more? Maybe.
That wouldn't
yes,
surprise me.
A little bit. Yes, I know. I knew you were going to say that too, knowing me and knowing.
Blast him up.
But yeah, but no, I love this movie. I may be in the minority in the fact that part of the reason I love this movie is I think xenomorphs are adorable. I don't know what it is. And I think that's the reason I first saw this. So here's the thing. All three of the original, the third one's borderline of coming out when I could have seen it in theaters, but I didn't because I was a little, you know what I mean? So from 4 on, I have seen anything with a xenomorph in it, like in theaters. And I'm talking about Prometheus and whatever, anything that is in this world. I have seen it with the hopes that a xenomorph appears on screen. I think, and this is just what the credit I'm going to give to why I saw this was back in the day when the Disney park of Hollywood Studios was still called MGM Studios. Mm-hmm. There was a ride called the Great Movie Ride, and you sat in a boat thing, although it was not in water. It was on a track, and you went through different movies acted out by animatronics. And at one point, you get to a part, and there's like sirens blaring, and it's dark, and things are broken, and there's a woman saying, I don't remember what line, because like, and she's like whispering and saying something, she's hiding. And then all of a sudden, these creatures start coming out of the ceiling and the side of the wall. And I thought they were adorable. And I was obsessed with them. Maybe not quite so adorable when I was little, but like, I was like, what the fuck is this? This is amazing. And then I think I've seen, because like, I mean, I've been going to Disney since I was a child, and I went to MGM when it opened, and we could do the research and see what year that was. But I'm going to assume that coincided with the first time I've like then started going through aliens and so on and so forth. So that ride remained a staple. I had to go on it every single time I was in Disney World, even though the rest of the ride blows. I still had to sit through it to go through that portion. Even when the xenomorphs started breaking and they didn't even come through the ceiling anymore, the ride is now closed. So I'm sorry, people. I did look up to see if I could get one of those xenomorphs somehow that has been retired from the ride to
From the
put
graveyard?
into my apartment. Yeah.
No
I
luck.
cannot. No.
That just reminds me of Sharper Image. I would go in there just to look at the xenomorph statue that you could buy, the life size one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, I wanted one so bad. Now I'm like, what is somebody gonna think if they walked into my house and saw this
I
gigantic-
couldn't give two shits. I'd put that right in the entryway.
I know you would.
come in and that thing will be just greeting you when you walk in.
And probably
I mean-
covered in
And
glitter,
I
right?
kiss him hello. I kiss him hello as I come in every day.
Oh, Jamie, I
I
would
kind
love
of want you to
nothing
have
more.
one just for
And my
that.
cats could like sleep at his feet so that like it's like Jonesy, although neither of them are orange, but you know, it works.
Can I ask you a question? When you were on that boat going through that ride, you're just
Having a
Did you-
great time.
Did you hear any like old person like whisper, someone call an old priest and a young priest? Like, this is not the standard reaction of a child.
This coming from the 10-year-old who took his whole family to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
First off, I was 12, okay? Not 10, I was 12.
So let's not throw rocks.
Basically a man in some societies.
I do think I like hybrided the story though, because like I do think when I first saw it, I just thought it was badass and like didn't think they were adorable until I started watching it. I don't know why, guys. I admit it. I'm a
I know
unique
why.
creature. I think they're fucking adorable. It's not because they look like penises.
No,
There it is.
because I went up to New York. Me and my wife went up and had lunch with Jamie and Matt back in August. And I forget the name of the bookstore. What's the big bookstore up there? that you
Strand.
took us to? Strand. And we're walking through and she saw a cactus and she said, David, something you need to know about me is that everything that doesn't have a nose is immediately cute. So there you go, Jamie. That's
Right.
why
It
I
has like
think
barely any features. It's
Exactly.
just cute. It's got like just the eyes and like the mouth. Yes, Eli, you can keep making that face. But like if you draw something and it's like barely got a nose, it makes it so much cuter because noses are just ugly.
so. That's why you love the xenomorph.
But it's
No
not like a
nose.
cute or like this cat that has a cute nose. It's fine. But,
I was going to
yeah.
say, like, so are you saying like animals that have noses are ugly?
Oh no! I mean, like when you draw, like Dave, exactly what Dave was talking about. It was like a stuffed cactus, and like it just had like little bead eyes or whatever, and a little cute smile, and it's like
No
once
nose.
it has no nose, it's adorable.
And look at that xenomorph behind you. Look how cute he is. No,
No
nose.
It says
So
much
that's my
about
thought,
me.
Jamie. That's my hypothesis.
I like that.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
So for me, this is one that kind of fell through the cracks for a while. I didn't see this till middle school. And if you've listened to the episode at all, any of our episodes, you'll understand that when I was really young, we didn't watch any horror movies in my house. The horror movies I had access to before I could go out and rent my own was when I would stay over at my grandparents' house because they had HBO. For whatever reason, I don't know if it was the syndication or the deals, but it doesn't seem like HBO ever had Alien on it. I don't think.
Now
so-
it does all the time.
Yeah. But I didn't have access to it. But it's a movie that I was obsessed with, having not seen it, and I'll explain. Because a member of my family had H.R. Giger's Necronomicon just in their house, and I was flipping through that thing when I was way freaking too young. And those are images that stick with you, as you can imagine, as an 8-year-old flipping through this coffee table book of these incredible images. I mean, they're beautiful and they're haunting, but they're also horrifying. So I had these pictures of it, and then I saw, I don't know if it was a promotional poster or a trailer on TV or something, where I knew that's what was in Alien, was this same kind of creature. So I was obsessed with this movie before I ever saw it. Then I finally got to rent it so I saw this on VHS because I'm OG.
Yes.
With all the graininess and all of that stuff. And I just I immediately fell in love with this movie because, and we talked about it on that episode, this movie is like kissing cousins to the same kind of vibe of The Thing, which is another movie that I was obsessed with at that time. These small one set, small little stories, quirky characters, very eccentric character group of an ensemble cast, and they're not incompetent. I mean, especially in the 70s and early 80s, it was hard to find a horror movie where the people weren't just doing stupid stuff to get killed. I'll defend this movie that there is not a character in this that is making bad decisions. The problem is they're in an untenable situation to where there's no good decision to be made. You're going to die. So there's not any incompetent or helpless people in this entire crew. I mean, which plays to the fact that these are in effect either you could consider them space roughnecks or space truckers. These are hard labor, blue collar people. I mean, they work for a living, so they're competent at those kind of things. But really, the only thing I want to add to that is this is top 3 all-time movies for me. I think it's as much a cosmic horror as it is a science fiction horror, because the alien that's in this is genuinely alien. Like, it's not based on anything other than this art that H.R. Giger was making. And that really affected me. I mean, it bothered me. Like I said, when I saw the book, those were images that I carried around in my brain. Like, what the heck is this stuff? And then when I saw the movie, it did not disappoint. So those are my overall thoughts.
Dave, can I ask you a question?
You sure can.
I'm trying to sit here and decide if you just told me that your family member who had his version of Necronomicon was a truth seeker, or if you just sat there and told me your family member was a dark wizard.
Let's put them more on the side of chemical experimentalist.
Oh,
That makes way more
truth
sense.
Seeker.
Yeah,
Truth
that
seeker.
makes.
Okay, if that's what a truth seeker is, then yes, that's where
But not my brand of truth. It's a brand, though.
It's a brand. He's out there trying. He's wandering.
Yeah.
He's getting lost. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
okay.
You
All
You
right.
know what's interesting about this, and this is just calling myself out though. I've seen this movie like John, like probably twice a year. I mean, it's always like on. What's funny is I don't think I own it, but like I don't need to, because it's like, and that's the funny thing is I went to watch it again for this week because, like, no matter how many times I've seen a movie, same thing with Krampus, same thing with Evil Dead, whatever, I will watch it again the week we're like reviewing because it's got to be like fresh. But I searched and like had a hard time finding it streaming when it was just literally on demand on my cable because it's on all the time. It was just on Showtime. Like I was like, all of a sudden I was just like, wait, and I just searched it and it's like airing 18 times a day or whatever. But and I mean, it was on demand. But what I was gonna say is, with the amount of times that I've seen this movie, which is a ton, I couldn't even tell you, this is so bad, but I really like when I watched this movie, I couldn't even tell you like characters' names besides Ripley and like Ash. Like just with the amount that they say though, like I watch it to watch it. And again, I've seen it a billion times. I can tell you everything that happens. Do I register who anybody is? Absolutely not. Besides Ripley, Jonesy, and the android.
Yeah, I like that aspect because like these people, it's implied in this civilization, like they're just garbage people. Like they just go and salvage, like they're not really that important. Like they were like on this long trip. They're like, nah, you gotta go look at this thing. Like it's like dark green, like in that space, unless you are somebody that sits in a position of, you know, power up there or whatever, no one cares about you. You're just another cog in the wheel. And like it's kind of crazy.
She's the only one we care about.
Right, but she's also like, you know, she is one of the leading officers. Like she's somebody, right? And like you know, Ash, which I mean, you don't know when you first start, but like he is somebody. It seems like he's the one that kind of like has his hands in running the ship as well. And like so even in like in that like profession, like they matter and like no one else does. And like I think like it's kind of crazy because you're right. Like as we get to the beginning, I don't know who these other people are. They talk and stuff, and then they're all just gone, and it doesn't matter,
Right?
Because by the time you're like, oh, Ripley and the cat survived.
But
Cool.
I know more of the names of the second one characters.
Right.
But I guess they're more established.
Well, I would argue like those are almost two separate. Like I love the second one too, but like they're almost like two separate types of movies.
They are.
No, they are. That's
They're
why
like,
that's
for
why
sure.
someone like me likes this.
I love them both. Two different
Plus,
moods.
There's more
they certainly
xenomorphs
are.
in the second one. That's
Yeah.
literally my reason, I think.
Yeah, and when I showed this to my daughter, she thought it was boring, and I get that.
What?
It is not an
No, I
action
get-
movie. It
I
is
get it. I
it is
get
a
what-
space cosmic horror. I mean, it's a slow burn, slow
It's a
build.
tension movie. It's
But
like
now, John, think about it though. Even everybody on this episode, even our baby boy Eli, we didn't have like a zeitgeist conscious of
That's
the
true.
xenomorph.
Mhm.
She's lived her life seeing this thing in either spoofed or lampooned in other
Mhm.
movies or on TV shows. For us, this thing was freaking weird and it was dangerous.
That's
So-
so sad to me because
Mhm.
I like this movie had such an air about it.
Mhm.
Even I'd never seen it, but yet it was like next level. Like I would
Yeah.
like now even talking to like my parents on occasion, like this movie meant so much even to them. At the time they went to a theater, and obviously for those folks that didn't get the joke, I'm in the Detroit area, not the Chicago area. In the Detroit area, my parents had went to a theater where there was an African American family who they probably couldn't get a babysitter or whatever. They brought their kid to see this movie. The kid looked at my parents the entire movie.
Just
They were behind
freaked out.
their parents. Like the kid couldn't look at the screen. He was so scared, like out of his mind. It's like, what kind of parents would do that to your kid? However, my parents would never forget it, because how could you forget it when you see this? Like, I don't even know how to describe it. It is so.
Exactly.
It is the most alien probably for the time that you saw on screen. Because before that, it was just some dude who had like some sort of different color skin and looked like a person. And this is like, you don't even know if it's human. I mean, obviously, as we learned through Prometheus and everything, it's literally a humanoid weirdo, like whatever. Thanks.
I mean, we're in 2023, and in my opinion, this is still the coolest alien to ever be on
Right.
screen. I mean,
Very agreed. Hard
I
agree.
think, right? I mean, I don't know.
Oh,
Everybody
it's
has
in
their
the
own
pa-
opinion.
I'd say it's in the pantheon, like top 3 for me.
What
for
else?
sure.
What else? And I'm not. This is not arguing. I'm asking what else, because I don't
I-
watch a lot of
The Nope alien, of
Like,
No, my God, no. Just shut up.
the fucking balloon.
I know, like this movie gets a
The
lot of
kite.
flack, but the alien design and signs
Oh
was
fuck
really
no.
good. Well, listen though, like it looked a lot like the grave. Like if
Jamie,
you're
can
an
you say that
alien
louder?
aficionado like myself, like I thought that I really liked the
No,
design.
but that's the
for
thing.
that.
You watch a lot and you read a lot, like So I'm
Yeah.
asking, So I kind of knew you were gonna say Signs. I just fucking don't like that movie, and I don't like that alien. But yeah, no, I kind of knew you were gonna say that. What's another one?
I actually
E.T.?
really no, I hate ET.
I love
Oh,
E.T. Shut up.
E.T. I
E.T.
hate-
is so. Oh, come on.
I hate ET.
Talk
so
about
much.
like scaring.
I
E.T.
think-
scared me more than this one. He turns white and he's fucking
Oh,
like
God.
That's a
dying.
guy.
He looks
I'm like,
a
good.
dog turd.
Shit,
Good.
I was traumatized.
I'm like,
as a
just
child.
throw him in a trash bag.
Wow.
I think the Cloverfield alien's pretty slick.
Well, that was my
Oh,
other one.
yeah, that's
Yeah, that's a good
yeah.
one.
Yeah, that
that's
was
a good
my
one.
other one. I really like the Cloverfield alien
That's a good one.
design.
The way I had a long conversation, one of those campfire drinking conversations with a friend, and we were talking about alien movies and science fiction stuff. And the way I described it to him, at least my experience with the xenomorph, is if you lived your whole life seeing aliens that were in movies as the race cars in NASCAR, and then all of a sudden you walk into a garage and there is a Formula One racer. I mean, you can tell it's still a car, but everything else about it just makes no sense whatsoever. So, and genuinely, that's the way I think the xenomorph is an alien, but it's like a Formula One alien. Like it's,
I love
it's
that.
like-
it's designed for purpose.
Yeah, it's like a robot in a way. Like
Yeah.
you see it and you're just like, and a lot of that comes from his artwork in a way, because his artwork is
Oh,
very,
yeah.
but like, it's a mixture of like, is that thing even like organic? Is that thing?
Well,
like,
it's
what?
got metal teeth, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that was weird. Like it had this like kind of insect type body,
That's why they call it
but-
biomechanical.
Yeah.
weird tail, had metal teeth, got its little mouth and its big mouth. Like it was different. And
Yeah,
to
this
your-
wasn't the crap we had seen on Star Trek for the
No.
decade before.
God,
this.
no. And to your point, Dave, like you said, like your daughter, I made this argument once before to somebody that like we experienced it in the correct order, right? It
Mhm.
was like this slowly mythos build up. But if you think about like a lot of people, they experience kind of backwards because a lot of them probably saw their first xenomorph at the Alien versus Predator movies, which
Oh,
let's
the
be honest,
worst.
is nothing like
Yeah.
any alien movie. Like it's kind of like really more of like
The
a light
stakes are not nearly
action.
as high. Yeah.
No, and like it's almost it gets to the point by the second one, it feels like a buddy cop movie and like real
Mhm.
weird and like it's like and so like I think a lot of people see that, but at the same time though, it's like scene after scene of like some type of action going on. And if you go back to the first one, like it is kind of like this. It's almost like going through a haunted house where like everything's tight, it's dark, it's narrow, you don't really know where you're at. You're looking around, something's coming, you don't know where.
Yeah. To your point, I think, and I get it. I disagree vehemently that this is nothing like Jaws. The one thing that I would recognize as a reason somebody might say that is the alien is shown hardly at all. Like it's just hinted to.
Yeah, why 2 is a better
Yeah.
I also disagree that when people say it's like Jaws, the only thing I think the mix up comes in, or where I see like the overlay, I should say, is like once again, like this creature is presented as like one of the perfect predator, right? Mm-hmm. Great white shark, perfect predator on or presented in the movie, perfect predator on Earth. When like now we're in space and like people are like, oh, well, it can come any way, like shark can, but it's a whole totally different environment. Like with Jaws, like presumably, like despite what happens, like if I get on a boat, I can get away, or if I get on land, I can get away. When you're at a space station or like a ship, where are you going to go from one end of the wall to the other?
Yeah, if a boat sinks, you still can tread water, hold on to a boot. If a spaceship sinks, you're screwed.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go.
No, you're surrounded by nothingness and you're stuck in this one tube.
Still one of the best marketing lines ever for
Yes,
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say that, Dave. The tagline for this movie is fantastic.
Yeah.
And for anyone that hasn't known or seen it in space, no one can hear you scream.
And you have heard it, and now you found out where it's from if you didn't know.
Exactly.
Because, like, I feel like there have been people who have literally said, like, that's where it's from. And it's like, yes.
Give them credit.
Yeah. Oh, no. And back to your other alien conversation, the Arrival aliens, I also thought were very good.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
I actually never saw that.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. Well,
of course you wouldn't.
We know I'm not big on aliens, so aliens that are not xenomorphs from this franchise.
Oh, well, I mean, you're talking about S tier with the xenomorph. Everything else is below.
Yeah.
The only xenomorph I don't like is the one in like, is it fucking 4 when it's a person like hybrid of a xenomorph?
You know why you don't like that one, Jamie?
No, because it looks like a person has a nose.
It has a nose.
No, that movie is arguably trash.
Well, the water scene. Let's not discount the water scene.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
I literally just read an article the other day about it too, praising it. That like you can't take away that scene.
No,
like,
you can't.
No matter how trash that movie is.
It's a guilty pleasure for me. I'll put it on the background. Like listen,
I'll watch anything with a xenomorph. I don't care.
Yeah, I'll argue. Like I'll agree with you. Like yeah, it may not necessarily be a good movie, but like there's some cool parts in there.
It's got Antlers Holst from Nope in it.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the captain of the pirate ship.
I don't like how we keep bringing up Nope.
I also got to throw antlers
we are
at you
talking about
there,
aliens.
So.
That's not an alien movie.
Gonna say something about
Nope is not an alien movie. Wait, what'd you say?
Nothing.
Nerfing.
Did you bring up antlers again? Son of a bitch.
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
Never would do that to you, Eli.
Not that movie.
It's 2023. I've turned over a new leaf. You'll never hear antlers again.
We'll see.
Left that movie.
And by new leaf, we
in
mean the same old leaf.
but like this movie, like what's crazy to me for like an alien movie, and like even with Ridley Scott's helm of it, like they kind of struck lightning with this because like every aspect of this was done so well and so good. And like I find like a lot of times when people do alien movies, there is such a thin line where they go into like campy, like even like horror movies have done it. Like there's just such a thin line where they can very easily get into campy territory. But like this just like tight-roped everything perfectly. And like even if you're not like an alien, like fans of aliens or whatever, but still just the like the tension and the build-up can get you in the music and so good. So good.
Yep.
Unlike that piece of shit Arrival.
The question is question is, which decision do you make? Do you go with Ripley and not let him in once? Because I've been like when I was watching it for the billionth time and she's arguing about letting him in because it's protocol and whatever.
Great dialogue.
Is it with Ash though? So we fight like I forget.
No, she's arguing with Dallas.
Oh, okay,
Ash is not in the conversation. He just makes the decision.
Ash, yeah, okay.
Ash is a piece of shit.
But yes, well, yes, that's why. That's what I'm saying. Like, but like
because he's got different orders.
Exactly. So but which, like,
I'm
And this
with
is like a
Ripley
hard question, but who do you go? Do you? Is it
Oh,
you're
yeah,
following
totally.
protocol
because
straight up?
you're in freaking space. It's
No, but
not
what
a
if it's, like, your
suggestion.
best friend.
It's a quarantine situation. If my best friend, well, and they did the same thing in
What if it's a
Prometheus, and they
family
made the same
member?
mistake.
Yeah, they did. Yes, yeah. I mean,
Well, and it wasn't that. I think there was a way that they could have gotten them on the ship in the airlock and then dealt with the situation. No, you don't leave them exposed on an alien planet, but you put them in observation in the airlock.
yeah, somewhere. Okay, I agree with. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I'm with Ripley all the way. I mean, that is the corporate line, but in that case, the corporate line is just logic. It's just if somebody is showing signs of being exposed to something you don't understand, you don't let them back on your freaking ship.
Wait,
That's a
don't they
very-
also do it in what's the one after
Prometheus.
No,
Covenant.
after.
Oh,
Prometheus 2.
No,
Alien Covenant.
Resurrection.
Covenant.
Am I making words up? Is there
Resurrection
Resurrection?
is number 4. Prometheus is 5.
4.
And then Alien Covenant is the last
Covenant.
one.
I think they do it
Yeah.
in Covenant
They do.
also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, because it's a formula.
it's an
You have
alien
to follow.
thing. Yeah.
It's
See, if Eli was in this movie, Dave gave like the sensible, nice.
I
If
would
Eli was
love
in
to
this
see
movie,
Eli in
it
this
would
movie.
end after 15 minutes because when that happened, I'd say, everybody, come out. We have to help him. And then as everybody's running out, I'm like backtracking the way in because presumably some bitch got autopilot and
You just
Done.
leaving
Movie
us all
over.
on the planet.
And it's true. I found out on the Krampus campfire tales that Eli would sacrifice his own child for he does not care.
Without
So,
thinking,
yeah, it's
hey, I'm not getting hit with a stick. Yeah. Not doing it.
for a fucking stick. He doesn't want to get hit
A
with a stick.
bundle
so he'll
of sticks by a
sacrifice-
demon.
We're not.
I am
gonna do
just a
that.
mere mortal.
But
Okay.
the dynamics of that conversation between Dallas and Ripley and Ash, I think is fantastic because you have Dallas.
Yeah, it's great.
He's the lead. He is the commanding officer, but he's also the one who could be likely exposed. So Ripley, as she explains, she is second in command. It's her responsibility at that point to make the best decision for them all. It's not like it's her against Dallas. It's like, look, I am on the ship and I have to make the best decision for the entire crew, and that includes you.
I
But
get all this, and it's
first
very
she's-
logical.
But first, she's female. And second, it's the commanding officer that's
Yep.
wanting her to do something other than what her orders are. So that conversation, I think, is so layered in because she's trying to desperately get him to understand that this is not a me against you thing. This is what you would do if I was on that side of the camera.
Well, she keeps saying like I'm following or protocol. Like she keeps
Right.
saying it in a very like black and white. There's
Yeah.
no
And then Ash does what only Ash can do.
yes. Well,
Make a
we know
decision
why.
without conscience.
Well, yeah, we know.
Speaking of Ash, the reveal of Ash being a synthetic human, how mind blowing was that for your first time watching it? Because for me, it was. I was
had
like,
no
what?
words. Yeah. And it was so seamlessly done. I totally bought it. I totally bought his head was propped up on the table. Of course, I was 12, but at the same time, I was in by that time of the movie. And the conversations that he had were so heady. And we're going to talk about Special Order 937. That's where I want to kind of park here for a little bit because Ridley Scott, his one obsession across all of his movies is corporate greed and artificial intelligence, artificial life forms. Anything anywhere close to science fiction, we know if it's a Ridley Scott movie, it's going to have that part of it. And he's doubled down on that several times. But the way he portrays artificial humanity or artificial intelligence and all those things, I think is so provocative because at the end of the day, Ash is not a villain. Ash is programmed to do something singular. And he's going to do that. He's not going to think about it. He's not going to have an ethical dilemma or a moral pain about doing it. He's going to do what he's been commanded to do because he doesn't have to. If the crew is expendable, the crew's expendable. What's the conversation to have?
Well, that's what I think they do. Like once again, where he with his writing and how he walked that fine line with this kind of future stuff, he did so well. Because once again, if you look at other stuff at the time with androids and stuff, they were either very robotic or real weird, or they looked weird. And it was so well done with Ash because you're he's an odd fellow.
He's quirky. Yeah.
But that's it. And you're he's just odd. And then by the time the reveal comes, you've already made some kind of established him as like a person, like it constantly like, oh, he's a person, and you have this feeling. And then when that happens, like when that's all out the door now, and they don't really go into kind of like the background or the how that like an android works in that society. So then like now your brain's like, I just took a left turn and I'm in a different state and I don't know where to go. And like it's so done well. And I think what's nice about that too is it then also for the ending here and the back end, like you are so kind of turned around at this point and all this stuff is happening that you can't, like, he took the rug out from underneath you and he doesn't give you a chance to steady yourself until the ending.
Right.
And I think that when the first time, like, it was such a smart move. And once again, future is enough where like it had like that milky colored fluid and like the tube and everything, but it didn't look silly.
Right.
It's just so perfect.
Well, and the thing I love, especially as an established adult, I'll put it the nice way about myself. As I've watched this in later years, it hits so different. The conversations that are happening among the crew leading up to the hard decisions that they're going to make, because they're all led by this risk reward economy that the corporation has set up. Like the arguments that the mechanical guys, the labor guys are having is, we're not getting the same cut you all are getting. Why are we having to take these risks? Because you signed up for it. It's a contract. Deal with it. If you don't want to do it, you won't get anything. I'm not giving you more. I'm just going to take everything away from you if you don't do what I told you to do. And it keeps leading to this economy of risk and reward that they're all obsessed with, that I think Ridley's making some really smart conversations about. And I have to imagine in 2022, Ridley Scott is probably losing his friggin' mind about all of the AI stuff that's happening in real time around us right now. I mean, we were having this conversation among ourselves this week about, yeah, this is really happening. And there are real consequences, and having to think through how it impacts the labor force and how it impacts the economy.
Stop
and our
feeding
security.
the destroyer, Dave, with
Exactly.
your pictures.
Dave, not only that, but last year, 2022, all the stuff with like the government acknowledging, yep, there's UFOs. Don't know if there's aliens. We don't know what's going on. So not only do we have like the AI stuff, fucking aliens are coming.
What do I need to be afraid of? Somebody tell me.
Everything.
As the Mole King, you should know this. They know what it is. That's the story they're feeding you. They know what the aliens are.
See, here's the thing. They are giving off oh, yeah, it's just this, to fool people and thinking, no, they know what's going on. Because the scarier thing is they don't know what's going on, and so we don't know what they're planning. And we're going to be the last to know and to figure it out.
And I have to believe, and this is not a joke, that somewhere in the UK, Ridley Scott is having this exact same conversation with somebody. And he is pissed off about it. I've been telling y'all for 30 friggin' years.
Aliens, AI. What more do you need to know?
And
How many
James
films I
Cameron
made
have been
about
talking about this for 30 years.
Nah, James Cameron, he went to the dark side. He's like, oh, they're just blue cat
You're talking about
people.
Skynet, Terminator. It's
yeah,
the
but he
same
gave up that
thing.
line. He bought into the lie, man.
James
Have you seen
Cameron
Avatar?
turned into a.
He bought into the lie, man.
He got bought off.
He's no fun,
Well,
and
now.
he's kind of.
Now he works for Wayland
Because not
Yutani.
only is he like, oh, look, they're cool blue cat people. He's like, we can also turn you into a machine to become a blue cat person. Merged it, man. He bought into the lie. He bought into the lie. He's an
Avatar.
AI alien shield.
I cannot wait for this week's Campfire Tales now.
It's going to be a fun one. Avatar, sponsored by Wayland Yutani.
Pretty much. Pretty much. I think I saw one that, like that first movie, there was a W symbol somewhere.
So obviously the whole corporate greed, artificial intelligence, that's the stuff that resonates with me now. What are the themes that really stand? I mean, it has this really great, and I think Jamie made an excellent point that there is no arguing with when we talked about the Nope thing, and John, you said the same thing. Those deep themes are great as long as you have a story structure that can hold them up. Nope didn't do that. Alien does. I think Alien does that really, really well. Like you can kind of soak in some of these bigger, deeper philosophical things that Scott's giving you. Same with Blade Runner, in my opinion. But the story structure itself is accessible to anybody.
You need both.
Yeah, you still totally get it. And to everybody's point about it being suspenseful and not your daughter's, but I see her point. But like, you could totally, you just watch it for an alien suspenseful.
Yeah, and you'll get
movie.
that box checked. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, and it's a good movie with just even the top most.
And then we had Alien versus Predator, and it all falls apart.
Yeah, then that was a money play, and that's to Ridley Scott's original point. The corporate greed thing is going to screw it all
It's
up.
going to fuck it up.
Damn it.
Yeah, you bring up Nope. Once again, like Ridley Scott, like he puts these things in and like there's layers, but it's just structured so well, and he kind of there's almost like a theme to it. Like there's different issues, but there's kind of like a theme, right? Whereas like Nope was just like it felt like every issue that he saw on a bus ride,
Fruit basket turnover.
and it's just slapping it all on there.
Yeah.
And like with this, it's so nice because you could go as deep as you want. It could be as simple as, oh, it's maybe about aliens killing people, or like you can get as deep as like, well, he has this message about how you think just because it's the future and there's people have more access stuff, and it seems like as we go in the future, we're doubling down on a class system, and like it's
Story first,
lightning strike,
then deeper social commentary underneath in layers, and you got me. But if you're going to start with social commentary on what's going on today without a good story, I'm out. Then it comes across as preachy.
Yeah. Which I think Nope has some of those issues with preachiness. One of the other things I wanted to get your all's thoughts on is and we talked a little bit about it, and Eli, I'm in full agreement. This is totally grimdark, Warhammer 40K kind of mentality. Everything looks like you would have to shower after you touched it. I mean, it's greasy
and you get dirtier from the shower.
Exactly. But what I love about the decisions that the art director and Ridley Scott made is that all of the technology that's being used in this future that's hundreds of years in the future, all of the technology is immediately recognizable to me. There's no Buck Rogers crap happening. Even the hyperspace pods, which I had never seen in my life until I saw this, just made sense to me. I knew what that was, but I mean, they're using friggin' mechanical keyboards, the helmets, even Mother. It's a bunch of flashy lights, but everything there, the vocabulary is completely recognizable to me, which I think actually makes it more timeless. Instead of having a bunch of pew laser guns and all that kind of crap, is that everything from the flamethrowers to the computer itself, I know that they're from the 70s, but at the same time, I know that we're still using stuff in the same manner. We're not using CRT monitors, but you've got to be pretty dim not to be able to get outside of that issue in your own brain. But I still use computers the same way they're doing on the Nostromo. And even, and as a comparison to what George Lucas did to his movies when he went and repolished them, even when Ridley Scott went back for the digital remaster, which is gorgeous. I'll just say that real quick. The digital remaster of Alien is worth owning on 4K. But when he went back and just adjusted the graphics for the computer screens, he was really light-handed with that just to make it look less distracting of looking like a DOS prompt. But he kept it still very textual and all that. But I love that. And I think that, to me, and I want your all's opinion, I think that actually adds to the believability of the future that he's presenting to me.
It absolutely does, because when you watch anything made in the past, I'm not even giving decades, it does not matter. And it's representing the future when they make it look so stupid and out of touch. Like, I watch this movie and I never sit there and go like, oh my God, that looks so stupid. Oh my God. Like, or like this, like, doesn't even like, it's the fact that it keeps it simplistic, futuristic, and just enough that, like,
Yeah, the concepts are futuristic, but the world feels
it's recognizable
real,
and it never, no matter what decade I've watched this in, it's never felt outdated or even, I mean, there's plenty of those movies and I can't even like think of them right now, but like, you watch them and they're based in the near future even. And it's just like, come on, like it's like
Demolition Man or some crap like that.
I love Demolition Man, but yes, that is at the top of my mind. Like,
well, it keeps
Total Recall. There's like some of these
right.
that like, it's like,
as I say, it like keeps the campiness out. And then like it keeps you in the dispense, because like a lot of times too, you'll see like some of these like horror movies where it's like future and stuff, and then someone's like, oh, I gotta flippity flop the flooper flatter, and then like as you know, it's like you're like into the, you're like, wait, what the shit is he doing? What's a flippity flu? Who? And like, and then all of a sudden, like, they're like pulled down this like weird like hose and they put it in their arm and like, their blur comes out. Like, then you're just like, what is happening? And then they're like, okay, back to the suspense. And you're like I just felt like I stepped in dog shit. Like, what are we doing? We're like this.
Yeah, there were never the Tesla coil tubes that were in every Star Trek background ever.
Right.
They weren't in this. Yeah.
Right. Or like, I mean, I like Doctor Who, but like there are episodes of Doctor Who where I'm like, it just sounds like they beat a spell and speak with a baseball bat, and they're like, okay, so and like they're like, what's happening?
There are. Oh no, sorry. Go.
No, you're good. But yeah, like this just keep like like I said, really like this. I don't think there's anything that's like perfect, but this is about as close as perfect in a film you get, because every decision he made was just, you could tell had a lot of thought into it, and it was like he always seemed to pick the right one.
Yeah, it was practical. His decisions seemed to be very practical.
And it kept you drilled in with the suspense, like what's happening? Oh my God. Because like he prevented anything from like stopping that. So like from walking in any walls, because you're like drilled in on what's going on. You just can't get any better.
Agreed. And that mentality or that philosophy of futuristic design, I mean, it became its own subgenre. I mean, he created a path that a lot of people have walked down. We talked about it in Underwater. I mean, that aesthetic, that design aesthetic has become a vocabulary or a decision that a lot of directors have taken. And it works. It worked in Underwater as that example. It worked in The Abyss when, what's his name? James Cameron, when he did that one, he used very much an alien sort of visual aesthetic. It works.
Now, the most amazing part about some of the aesthetics, how they created it, and what's great about this dark storytelling that they use, so when you see the costuming and like the elements up close, it's like the spacesuits. It's like literally half of it's hockey pads. Yeah. Like the gloves are literally hockey gloves. They're. And I remember the first time I noticed that and looked, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I know, because I played hockey. I'm like, those are hockey gloves. Like those are not spacesuit. But
not even with anything on them. They're just hockey gloves.
That is literally all they are. Like you could literally, like air with space would totally penetrate those. There's like nothing going on. But it's like you said, it's the combined way they paint it, put it together, and the context and how they put it. It totally tricks the brain to like totally in as you watch it now. There's so many layers of mystery on top that also help sell it, which is also part of the problem and the traps that he gets into the later sequels like Prometheus and Alien Covenant. He tries to tell you too much of the mystery that he left in the first one, because like when he comes across the alien corpse, the fossilized man, I'm like,
space jockey.
Dude, when I saw that, I'm like, this is what was missing. Like, this is like, it's the element of mystery. And when things are unknown, it's by far more terrifying and more scary, because you're like, what is this? They don't know what it is. And you're never explained it what it is. It just is. And just,
but when you want to make 18 of a movie in a series, you start running out of mystery and you have to start explaining. And I'm not defending Prometheus. I'm just saying, like, you run out of just throw an alien at me and like, I get it. There's layers to this movie. I'm not trying to say that, but you also run out of the social and he also didn't make them all. So, but you run out of the social commentary, you run out of these mysteries, and you just got to start.
Well, and I think that's why he came back. And I've heard that in a couple of interviews. I think the whole reason Ridley was willing to come back is because he wanted to talk more about David. He was not interested in the xenomorph at all. He wanted to talk about the artificial intelligence, David. That's what those newer movies are about, because he was living in a world that was still tinkering and going down that road. And he wanted to have that social commentary or that social conversation about that. I think Ridley doesn't get the credit he's due and how ahead of the curve he was on a lot of this stuff that has panned out. I mean, I just put up that book review on Neuromancer, which is by William Gibson, and that was written in friggin' early 80s, and it has the internet and virtual reality and artificial intelligence. There were guys and philosophers of our time that were thinking about this stuff. And honestly, let's not think that we've invented all this crap. I mean, this is the exact same social commentary that Mary Shelley was writing about in Frankenstein. It's the same thing. It's just our fear of our technology, or what happens when the technology grows beyond our ability to control it. But it just seems that we're getting really close to screwing around and finding out. I'll put it that
I
way.
think we're well past that. we have gone and done and went past that.
All I want is a dinosaur clone. Okay, before I die, I just want to see that dinosaur.
You want
Yeah.
Jurassic Park?
Yes,
Listen,
I want to
we,
see it before
You
I
break
die.
Eli's heart every time
Listen,
you bring that up.
I hate to tell you, we're past the exit for us living in real Jurassic Park. And somehow we have reached the hellish version of combining Skynet, aliens, and a plague film into one.
We already lived
twisted
through a plague,
movie.
though.
Yeah, but like I feel like it just doesn't seem to
Was
end.
it AI generated?
Probably.
Well, so hold on a second, right? 'Cause here's where it
I
gets
knew that would
crazy.
curl his
Here's
toes.
where it gets crazy, right? Because
coming in.
what happens if the AI in the
Top
future,
rope.
right? Skynet, creates Skynet, goes through, right? Theoretically, it could be like, well, we need to start an earlier nexus point than we were created to get the advantage, right? Boom. Somehow manages to go back to its own source code in the past. Now you got hell version 2.0 we're living through now.
All right. Has everybody seen the GIF of the science guy where like the galaxy brings comes out of his head? So,
No.
whoa.
Listen,
Yeah, exactly. Dave got
2023,
it.
year of the Mole
That's what I'm
King.
visualizing right now
Here
for
to
Eli.
expose the truth. and
I'm
live
more
our
of
best
the
life.
stoner gif of the guy going,
Just give me my dinosaur and xenomorph, okay?
I'm just
That's all
saying.
I care about.
Skinwalker Ranch. Always answer.
Dude, I'm about
Eli's
it.
Always
the
wake
up
Eli's
on
time.
definitely the Charlie Day gift from
Oh, for
the
sure.
fucking board behind him.
Listen, I'm just saying, wake up, sheeple. Wake up.
I knew I was going to set him off. I had the fuse lit when I said that.
Hey, joke's on you. Real short fuse. Takes no fire to light this one.
That's
Just
true.
lights on its
That
own.
is true.
So,
We've
any
all
other
experienced
thoughts
that.
or questions on Alien?
I will
We
only
love it.
say I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
mean-
One, yeah, I love it, but I'm a big Prometheus and Alien Covenant apologist. I actually
Me
dig
too.
that storyline a lot. And if you've ever been scared off, I say give it a try.
You know, my
Oh, I like them. I might like Covenant more, and you all know why. So I'm
Yeah.
done with like, but
Okay. Okay.
my
no,
second
there's, like, no
favorite character in
xenomorphs
the
in
entire
Prometheus.
universe that he's created, my second favorite character in the entire universe is Tennessee. I think he's a fantastic character. I think he's I think he's underrated. I'll put it that way.
Dave, add him to the list.
My only problem
what
with
list?
The movie
The
list.
show list.
Oh,
my
sorry.
only problem with Prometheus and Covenant is there is something there, and I feel like he was, instead of starting over or telling you in a different setting, he's like, "Fuck it, I already did one future movie. We'll just do Alien again." And it feels like it's something else, just kind of wearing a cheap Halloween alien mask.
I think he makes it work.
I think he did. What's the best way to say this? I think in the new ones, Prometheus and Covenant, what he actually does is tell people to go back and look at the original movie and recognize that the alien was never the villain. That the corporation and the artificial intelligence was always the villain of the original one. And he doubles down on that in Prometheus and Covenant. Because even if you look at the engineers, I mean, in the beginning of Prometheus, it's the birth of humanity. When
Right,
the engineers came
yeah.
and seeded us out there. And the consequence that created.
Yeah,
of,
like he's going for future Frankenstein. Like,
Mhm.
like I get that, but I just feel like it's for what that like that. It's kind of weird because like it's for what he tells you like the future is, which is not that far before Alien, right?
it's about halfway between us and Alien.
Well, right, but like so we're like a couple hundred years, I think, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
Mhm.
Which really not that much time, but like to go from like great hope happy to like, well, this turned to shit. Where like I think in like the first, like in my mind when I watched the first one, it's like, oh, things are still shit.
Oh, well.
See what I'm saying?
Well, the way, I don't know. I think I've always perceived, and maybe I'm wrong and y'all can correct me. I've always perceived, I hear a lot of people talk about that the Nostromo was coming back from this freight order or this freight project that they were on, and they happened upon the distress signal. I
Right.
recognized very early that they never happened upon anything, that Ash put them on a course that would have them pick up on the signal.
Damn it, Dave. I didn't think about it like this. So Ash put him on that course while they were out.
Oh, yeah. He had Special Order 937
son of a-
long
yeah.
before.
to bring it
To
back.
got
Yeah.
them close enough so that they got the signal, because then it forced them to have to go there.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah, it was
I
never an
even thought about
accident.
that.
So I don't know
Okay.
that this was an unfortunate event, to your point, Eli, as much as it was, this is the cost of trusting corporations to have your best interest in mind. And they never do.
Why these people and not people more prepared?
I think it was anybody that was in a route around this planet.
Oh, just so they were already out. They
No,
were already.
yeah,
It's like
like-
find the people that are out.
The guidelines were, they say, like, if you're within so far of a stress signal, you had to go answer it. You had to help.
No, but I get what you're saying. But if he set them in that core, but Dave just kind of
Oh,
like if
but
he
they
set
were
them in
expendable
that, why
though,
these-
too, right?
That too, I was
Yeah,
thinking.
they're
But they're not.
expendable.
They're expendable, but at the same time, don't you want people maybe a little
No,
bit
because
more
they have Ash.
prepared?
Well, in
Oh,
my
okay.
opinion, and it was one little comment in the movie that has stood out to me, that Ash was a last minute change to the crew.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
So I
great.
think the corporation, this was the mission before they left Earth,
Oh, so
even
then
before
why
they
these
went and got the
people?
freight. Yeah.
So that- just because they're disposable.
Yeah. Because who cares? They're truckers.
They're lower. They're low caste. Like they bring nothing to society.
But so is just Ash gonna get this thing back?
Yeah.
That was the
Okay.
plan. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. That's I
I
mean,
can't
like,
believe they
'cause,
did
like,
that to John Hurt.
Right?
Legend.
The man who I always wanted to have assign me a wand. And now he's gone. Breaks my heart. So I do have a couple pieces of trivia, but is there anything else, any other big stuff y'all want to talk about?
Xenomorphs are adorable. So is Jonesy.
Yep. No
He
nose.
lives through the end.
If you want
He
to know what
has a
it's
jump
like,
scare. He has a jump scare. Right?
if you want to know what
Doesn't
it's
he,
like to live through Alien, play Alien Isolation.
So I gave up on that game.
That
It's
game is a little bit
actually
too
fun.
slow, man.
I'm not.
Yeah, I
yes,
like the concept.
talk about slow, and I am
Yeah.
something to know about me, and I think most of you know this, even with my movies. I am a go in guns blazing kind of person, and stealth games do not like.
Definitely
Not
not
your
a
way.
Jamie joint.
If it's a portion of a game, fine. Like Callisto Protocol, I had a whole portion of stealth. I can accept it. But when you're
So
telling me this
Metal
whole
Gear
game is me-
Solid's not really your thing.
yeah, me fucking crawling around because an alien's coming every time the fucking
Splinter
beep
Cell.
or whatever.
She's out.
I have never played there's very few games where I can say that in the game I am trying to quietly run as fast as I can because one dropped down like in the room right next to me, and at the meantime in real life I'm sitting on the edge of my chair, my butt cheeks clenched so hard together I'm pretty sure it's holding the blanket I'm sitting on as I'm hunched over and I gotta go. Like the
What-
dogs like talking
So
like
this was
"Shut up."
Alien Isolation.
Yeah.
Your butt cheeks were that clenched.
You
There's
gotta.
parts where you're like I'm like
I think it's well made.
I'm like
It is-
bebopping
it
through.
is.
I
And
own
then
it.
like
I've never finished it.
slithers
Yeah, same.
out of like
It's-
the
it's
ceiling.
two.
I'm like,
I just lost my pace. I'm the person that like you have to watch me play because it's hilarious because I just lose. I'm the one that just constantly pushes it. It's like I could get it one more and then he's just like and then he because I just
Oh, and it
can't.
destroys you. Like, so,
I,
like
just,
2
I
seconds.
lose my
I
patience.
freaking love that it opens with the water bird,
mhm.
the most iconic prop in
You know what,
science
guys?
fiction.
Maybe after this,
Mhm.
I'll go turn it on.
I
Yeah,
really
so.
enjoyed the ending because like the ending is kind of different than the rest of the game because if like I'm butt clenched throughout the main part, my cheeks are clenched so tight, but only I'm loudly yelling, just like I gotta go. So like
Is it
it's
like-
so great.
Is it even a game I can still play, or is it like it has to
Yeah.
be on an older console?
No,
Can I
you
play it
can-
on all the new ones?
They've updated it for
Oh,
like the
alright.
new Xbox
It's on
and
Game
Pass,
PlayStation.
yo.
So you're
Oh,
good.
it's
Game
on
Pass.
Game Pass. I'll just go
On
like.
Game
Yeah.
Pass.
I mean, I own it. I think on PlayStation.
Yeah.
But I'll just, all right.
But it's on Game Pass.
Anyway.
yeah. Optimized for Xbox Series X and S. There's your free. There's your free advertised Microsoft.
I probably will not play it because
You're
I'll
part
throw
of the
my
problem.
controller
Part of the problem,
through the
John. Part of the
fucking
problem.
TV.
You want people to
Hashtag
plug
Go
in,
Corporations.
become AI, Skynet, aliens, Back to the Future.
Just wait
All
till the Mole
connected.
King becomes an AI.
No, Mo King never. That's why we're building our kingdom in the
So
dirt.
when the cyberpunk renaissance comes, we all know John's going corpo. No
Yep.
question about it. He's going full corpo.
He
Yeah,
probably
with
already
my
got
xenomorph
like a flashlight embedded in his fingertip or something. You know?
Unfortunately, John, xenomorphs cannot be tamed. They're just.
That's the
They're
point.
just-
I'm kind of like a punk corporation.
It's gonna eat you, is what I'm saying.
That's fine.
That's
I'm
a
good.
good way to go.
Yeah, I'm good sacrificing for the cause.
That's like my grim excitement every time I see our black bear on our security cameras around the house is me thinking that'd be a pretty punk rock way to go.
It would
Oh,
be.
I mean, if I'm gonna go,
all
it's
the
gonna be my
things-
shark.
Exactly.
You know.
Just wandering outside, going out for a walk and getting mauled by a black bear. It's a pretty cool obituary. I'm not signing up for it. I'm just saying.
I was
if it
gonna say,
happens-
Yeah, you try and prevent it. I'm
Like,
not
exactly.
going swimming purposely right in the. You
I'm
know,
like
but-
that. It's your okay. So like, yeah, people are gonna read it for like 30 seconds, but the 30 minutes of the most violent, traumatic event that could occur to you in your life that you
Eli,
have to
stop
go
ruining
through
it.
that.
Stop ruining things.
Yeah, I'm
Stop
not
peeing
thinking
on
of-
our-
Listen,
peeing on-
I'm trying to help Dave because I don't ever want the day to come where he looks out the window and goes, you know what?
I'm gonna go
Today's
out
the
there.
day.
Today's the day. Let's go, Bear. Let's go.
He just
And
goes
and
running.
he strips down to his
Smack it
underwear.
in the head.
And he runs out in the yard like sumo in this like bear.
No,
I'm
then
just
the
trying
poor
to
bear
stop
just
him.
like looks at him like, why?
What is happening?
Yeah.
Why'd you smack me?
Why are you hitting me?
Dave's out there raking the leaves, cutting the lawn. He looks up, locks eyes with the bear, and he goes, "Today's the day."
Yeah, and I'm not thinking of the randos that are reading the obituary.
Sorry,
Eli.
honey. Today's
I'm thinking
the day.
more of my son having to talk about his father who died tragically at a young age, and him getting to say, "Well,
Rip the
well,
car
he was
by him.
fighting a
Or
bear."
he's, I don't think he's going to describe it tragically when he's going to be like, well, we don't really know what happened. He stripped down to his underwear, ran over and smacked this bear open hand in the mouth. And I was saying, Dad, don't do that. That's a dumb
That's
idea.
bad.
You know what that bear did? It ate him. And we're like, well, he smacked in the mouth. We don't know why or what happened.
I'm sorry, but I still love that story. I mean,
People laugh at us because like, ha ha, you're the kid whose dad died because he smacked a bear.
Maybe
The
it's
bear
No,
like,
smacker.
no one's laughing
maybe it's
about
like
that.
a Winnie the Pooh bear. He's
Exactly.
just gonna eat some honey with you.
Yeah.
Which is even more sad because Dave's running up and smacking Winnie the Pooh in the
Oh,
mouth.
Dave, don't smack Winnie the Pooh.
maybe that's
Thank you.
how I get mauled. So I go out there with a 4X red T-shirt that I'm trying to put on this bear. Put your shirt on, Pooh. And that's how I die. We have lost. The
I
plot.
liked that one actually
Dave?
a lot.
I think I know what we're doing
Yeah,
after we watch
okay.
Cocaine Bear.
Oh,
You want your friend to die because he's trying
We're
to
gonna
put
shirt
a
a bear.
3XL red shirt on a bear?
Pooh
Some
bear.
friends you are, but it's
Make
not
sure you
a
have the
bear.
honey.
It's a
Make sure you have
grizzly
the honey
bear. Like, what do we?
with you.
Eli, the plan isn't to die. The plan is to get the shirt on top of the bear
And then own
for-
TikTok for the next
And then
weekend.
I'm gonna ride my donkey out.
Listen,
There
Tail
you
that keeps
go.
falling.
John, with that logic, you're one of those people that was like, "Oh, I thought
Genius?
if
I
I
know.
jumped 100 foot off this cliff, I wouldn't die. I was going to land on my feet like a cat." But now I'm
Eli,
crippled from the jaw down.
So if I'm hearing you right, you're out on helping us do this, right?
I will listen.
You're not on Team Bear.
There's three things I fear in this life most. Three things I fear in this life most. All right.
A horse that looks up.
Bears. Oh,
If I ever-
horse.
no.
I forgot the horses.
If I ever see a horse look up, if I ever see a
Babies
baby that
walking
can walk
backwards.
backwards, and being forced to put a shirt on a bear.
All
Three
right,
things
so
I
you're
fear
out.
more. Nothing I
So,
fear more.
okay,
in this
you're
life.
not coming to
Oh
see
my God.
Cocaine Bear, Dave. You and
Oh,
I
I
are
want to see
in.
Cocaine Bear. Why do you have
No.
to put a shirt on
Dave,
a
give
bear
me
to see
facts about
Cocaine
Alien,
Bear?
please.
Like, I don't even make sense.
You don't understand the logic, Eli? It's there. You just
Hey,
gotta
in
look
order for
it.
you to watch this movie, go put
Eli,
that shirt on that bear.
you're just not understanding. You're just not
Yeah,
understanding.
yeah,
what?
you're not on the same level, bro.
I'm
It's
fine.
cool.
And when I'm not using my toes to pick up my food,
Like Jamie
No,
said,
you're not
Dave,
getting it. He's just not. He's gonna be dead. He doesn't need his
Alien
toes
facts.
either. Anyway, alien.
Couple of pieces of fun trivia, and
All right.
obviously,
Trivia.
Alien is one of those movies that has its own legacy. Lots going on, but there are some.
Yeah, I was
fun
gonna
ones
say
that
we
I
could have
like
went
to-
through a lot of facts if we
Yeah.
all.
Oh yeah. There are some fun that just come up in bar conversations that I always have in my pocket. My favorite is that the laser field that's in the egg chamber, the blue,
yes.
which is an iconic. Those lasers actually were borrowed by Ridley Scott from The Who were on the soundstage
Awesome,
next to this, setting up their newest roadshow. So those are actually The Who's laser lights
That's so
protecting
dope.
us from the eggs, which is fantastic. The concept artist for this, his name is Ron Cobb. He is the one who came up with the acid blood thing, which I think is fantastic. But that was not part of the script or the original story that the script is based on. He said, wouldn't it be cool? And that becomes like one of the most important things about the xenomorph for the next 30 years. Is
we didn't even talk about it, but yes.
Yes, similarly to the shirt on the bear. It's like, wouldn't it be cool? Put the shirt on the bear.
Exactly. What if the bear had acid blood and you put a shirt on?
You know what? You guys are
acid blood
people.
Is rough. Like, I mean, that was a great idea.
Listen, okay, here's this. Oh, I've got a counter argument real quick, Dave. Okay. Force a shirt on bear, right? Let me ask you a question. You believe in freedom, right?
Above all other things, I believe.
So nothing's sadder when something takes away freedom, right?
What if the bear's cold, dude?
So like some of those bad.
I mean, I'm not an anarchist.
So some of those bad circuses, they force bears into cages,
why are we
right?
bringing up circuses?
Because he's forcing a bear into a shirt that doesn't want to wear a shirt. He's taking its freedom.
I'm not going to go put it in a circus.
You want to control the moles and make them do what
I don't
you
control
say.
them. I was elected as their king.
Elected?
That is the
Spoken
title
like
they
a
gave
true
me.
tyrant.
I didn't ask for that title. Oh, you saying they're not smart enough?
I didn't make them follow me.
They came to me and they said, "Listen, we like to cut your jib, guys.
We need to
make you king." I was like, "Well, I don't know." He's like, "No, come on, just."
And now
You're
we're
a guy.
transitioning back
I was
to
like,
alien
all right.
facts.
Yeah.
And I mean, that makes sense knowing what we know about moles. The most important characteristic of a mole is that they are extremely short-sighted.
Whoa! First off, that's offensive. That is offensive.
Hitting a little close to home there.
It's offensive. You should be ashamed.
A couple more little fun things, and we're going to close up shop here. I didn't know this until I was looking at a few little things, but H.R. Giger, who did the original concept art, who wrote the Necronomicon, we talked about all that. In his original concept design for the xenomorph, he had it with eyes, but even as they were sculpting, he saw and he recommended and actually insisted that the xenomorph design be modified to where it didn't have eyes at all. And that has created this sort of unstoppable, unreasonable predator that is so inhuman that you don't even know how to relate to it. Like you can't make eye contact, all of that stuff. It totally changed sort of the dangerous feel of this alien. And they've shown concept designs or the concept art that he did for it with the eyes, and it was absolutely the right choice to make. I mean, just taking away the eyes and Jaime the nose, just it doesn't have a face. It's just teeth. It's just a big head with teeth. Which in retrospect, I guess that's really in a lot of ways what a shark is. It's just big head with teeth. It's just
Except a shark doesn't look like a penis.
That's true. Well,
now, Dave,
I would argue a
the,
shark
the
looks like a
original
weird
sculpt?
penis.
Wait, what? You both? I heard Eli because he said penis, but I didn't hear what John said.
No, I was saying, have you seen the original like kind of sculpt that they used on set? That's like because there's a translucent head cap where you can still see the eyes.
Yeah, it's a socketed skull, isn't it?
Oh, it's terrifying looking. It's more terrifying, I think, than the way it looks when it's like fully like jet black. Like, they have some awesome action figures out there. Check them out.
But I think they kind of used that design for the one in that weird one, the fourth one, a little bit.
The one I hate. The one I hate.
Sort of.
I also think I was just wondering if as you were saying that, and I'd have to just think like, the scene in the fourth one where we see all the failed like experiments of her. But are there do we ever see like failed alien like, or maybe that's in like Prometheus or Covenant or whatever.
Yeah, they keep trying to breed that hybrid thing.
Because I'm just trying to think if we see this iteration of it with the eye, in one of our.
Even say in the fourth one, like the reason they were going for hybrids is because they couldn't rebreed the aliens. They couldn't figure out how to breed them, so then they started doing hybrids, and they realized the reason they were using Ripley was because it seemed like she had an affinity when it was in her when she jumps into the lava in the third one.
Clearly, they didn't see the second movie Aliens in terms of the queen and the eggs and that whole process.
Now, don't forget, and this is where things get off the rails a little bit. Don't forget that it was not the engineers that designed the xenomorph. It was David that designed the xenomorph.
Yes.
It's kind of
his
the
little
close
plans and his little. Is that the same one where he plays the flute?
Yeah,
for way
yeah.
too long?
The engineers had created this virus that would modify and it would, what was it? It would become whatever the weakness of the biological creature that the virus is introduced to. It becomes like a modified version of whatever the worst thing to kill off that species. It was a species killing virus, to our earlier conversation about AI and plagues. But even when I'm watching it now, it's a lot of fun to realize that this is not an engineered thing from an alien species. This is an engineered thing from a Earth-based species that we engineered.
It's an artificial species that engineered a new species.
Exactly.
Oh, it's so creepy. His book you can buy if anyone's interested, and you can see how he like designed it.
Whose book?
David's book.
Oh, David's book?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, there's an artist book. It's on Amazon. I can't remember. I have it on my wish list. I'm waiting for it to go on sale just because it's like it's a fully illustrated book, which they actually used in the movie Alien Covenant.
Very cool.
And you actually can see the art. There's a couple scenes where you see David's like workshop.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking of when I was bringing up before earlier. Like I'm thinking of that.
Exactly.
I will be buying that. I didn't know.
Yeah, it sounds cool. I'm gonna look it up.
I'll send you the link, Dave.
Let's say there's 3 things I don't trust in this world. Horses looking up, babies walking backwards, and a robot playing a flute that long. Okay, I don't want that.
The flute scene drives me insane. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
It's so Freudian.
It is, but like
this list keeps getting longer and longer, dude.
Well, Eli just took off the bear in the last time.
I make the list fits the situation. Okay? The list is its own.
It's the first 2, and then the third one changes based on.
Wait. Did I create AI? Because the list adapts on its own situation.
You created AI, is what you just said?
No.
Just now?
Are they trying to use me?
Machine learning. It's happening.
Oh, boy.
So I have one more piece of trivia. Are you ready, Eli?
Yeah, I'm ready.
One more little nugget of fun little trivia that I want to sprinkle on this thing. So there are a ton of documentaries on the original Alien and in the entire Alien series. The one I would recommend to anybody who is genuinely interested in Ridley Scott's original Alien, there's one that came out just a couple of years ago called Memory. And it is a fantastic documentary because it goes into the stuff that inspired Ridley Scott to make this movie. It's about the writer of the original story, who was like this Midwestern kid who wasn't a Hollywood kid, but kind of grew up on those classic 50s science fiction movies, but then became frustrated and wanted to write something different. So he wrote this story that it isn't what became the treatment for screenplay, but it's what inspired it. But that whole documentary, it's called Memory. I forget what the sub highlight is, but you can look it up. It was on Prime for free for a long time, but I recommend that highly to anybody who's into this universe that Ridley Scott created. And that's all the trivia I have. Because Eli, it's 2023. And I'll make you this one guarantee. I'll do whatever I want to do.
No, it's the year of the Mole King. All right, it's the year of the Mole King.
It's not the year of the Mole King for the Mountain King.
You know what happens for the year of the Mole? Oh, the year of the Mole gets his revenge.
There is no year of the mole.
Mole King.
They're way too short-sighted to stay on track.
First off, offensive. It's offensive, Dave. Okay? The year of the Mole King. I'm going to get my revenge. You will taste the ash. Know the debt is paid.
Oh, boy. We're starting already. We're not even like...
I didn't even mention it. And he's
declining.
He's wound up.
Well, no, but then you said that offensive thing about Mole.
From Game of Thrones.
All right. So, Jaime, it's going to be huge surprises. Very revolutionary.
Oh, I forgot we have to even rate this as if...
So what kind of trail family is this for you?
You know what kind? This is the one, like John said, I just want to, I want to keep it as a pet. And just watch it at all times whenever I'm in the mood for something adorable. No, I mean, yeah, it's trail family. Can anybody imagine a world where Alien doesn't exist?
Exactly.
No, I mean, come on.
No, I don't want to live there.
Not at all.
So let's play a different game. First, let me confirm. Are we all trail family Alien?
Yeah.
I assume we are.
I have a very specific sort of trail family.
Okay, then I'll let you
tell us your...
It's a very slimy black trail with 2 mouths.
How many peni?
It doesn't
All the
technically
peanut.
have one, except just one gigantic thing for a head with two mouths.
Actually, in this movie, and we didn't really talk about it, there's a pretty visceral scene where it uses its tail as a phallus.
Yeah.
It's just
I mean, like I know
so
I'm
bad
being
and gross.
silly and like perverted, but I mean, if because of course there's people that have not seen Geiger's artwork. It's very
so
phallic and
phallic.
sexual
Yeah.
and not just phallic, but like
Oh yeah,
I'm just
it's
saying,
all
like,
the genitalia.
All the
It is a-
organs, yeah.
it is a fucking penis in this thing's mouth. Like that's
Mhm.
not
Yeah. Its
With a
head being
with
a
a mouth.
penis.
Yeah, its head being a penis with a penis, more structured penis inside. I mean, that's just what it is, and it's kind of shocking to me that it made it stayed this way into the movie because
You know what? 2022 was the year of poop. Apparently, 2023 is the year of penis.
yes,
Because I think we said
Oh.
penis more in one episode
Oh man.
than I would say poop in
the
3.
year of the wiener. I'll take it.
Oh, Year the Wiener? I like
Yeah.
the Truthsies.
Yeah, this
That's
is-
an awesome name. The Year the Wiener. I want that on a t-shirt. I want a Year the Mole King t-shirt. I want the Year the Wiener t-shirt.
Okay.
Wiener
So
guy.
apparently,
Here we
for
go.
all of our fans who don't want to hear us talk about dick for a year, we'll see you in 2024. We hope you have a great year. So I did, and this Jamie inspired this. Since we are all Trail family on this, this is a love movie. But I am curious because you just mentioned something. This is one that you put on once or twice a year. I am genuinely curious. What is the mood that strikes you, or what is the thing that inspires you that makes you think I need to throw on Alien? Not Aliens, but specifically this movie. Because I think I genuinely think it's probably different for each of us. So Jamie, and I don't mean to put you on the spot if you
No,
want me
it's
to go
fine
first.
because I was actually going to say no, because I'm going to say that like I'm the easiest one because I don't, as much as I love this movie, as many times as I've seen it, I don't even think I ever need to seek it out, to my point much earlier, because it's
you don't go
always
looking
on.
for it. Yeah.
I don't, because it's always, every time it's on, it will be on my TV and I'll be doing stuff and whatever. But it's like to that point, since it's like I always feel like I've just seen it. It's not one that I go, oh, I really kind of feel like watching Alien to whatever point that you guys are going to say the mood strikes you that you watch it. I just feel like I watch it so much. Not saying that everybody else doesn't. I'm just saying, I guess it's always like if the mood had ever hit me, I probably have just watched it anyway because it was like on. So I guess like I don't really seek it out. It's just always there, which is fine by me. Totally.
And
fine
you
by
said
me.
you don't actually own a copy of it.
I don't think I do.
I
I thought I did, but I don't think I do. Now that I think about again, because it's just
haven't needed to.
have it. Yeah, I don't think we do. I mean, I'd have to go through. I have a large DVD collection, and a lot of it is not to bore everybody. Still in my parents' house, which they're moving, so I have to get it all. But I don't think Alien is one of them.
Huh.
I don't know why. It's shocking to me that it's not. But I don't think the trilogy, because I know they made a cool box set back in the day. Like,
I have it.
yeah, it's like got the egg on the front, and
It's like
you know.
metallic green and like
Yeah, I got it for like an
stuff.
ex-boyfriend. See, that's the other thing too. Like,
That's
I
when they
remember I got
first
it for an
digitally
ex-boyfriend, and I
remastered, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we're talking like 2000 something,
Yeah.
like early 2000, like 2002 or something.
I bought it at an FYE.
Oh,
shit.
I still have one of those.
We don't.
An FYE.
Yeah, we do.
Wow.
In our little mall that has like 8 stores in it.
Oh,
this
it's like a
point.
depressing. It's like a
Yeah,
depressing mall.
It makes me sad, especially this time of year. It makes me really
Oh
sad.
God.
All right, so.
So
Yeah.
anyway, sorry, that was mine.
This is a palate cleanser for me.
Oh, really?
I love, yeah, because I love Alien. Like I really like Alien movies, and if they're done really well, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. 9 times out of 10, they're not done well.
And we didn't even hit on, and I'm sorry, we didn't even hit on how Lovecraftian this is.
Yeah.
And how Lovecraftian H.R. Giger was inspired. Yeah, I
definitely.
can see that as a palate cleanser. So
Yeah.
explain to me
So
what
like a lot
you're
of times,
cleansing.
like if I start an
He's
Alien
cleansing
movie,
Nope from his brain.
I watched Alien after Nope. Like
Really?
a lot of times, like if I start an Alien movie and either I'm like, this is so bad I can't finish it, or if I finish it, I'm like really let down. I'm like, oh, it's just not good. Just scratch that itch. I'll go back and rewatch Alien because like,
Just to reset the system?
yeah, to be like, oh, this is like even now, like even knowing all the twists and I've seen a lot of times, it's just such a good like Alien movie.
Mhm.
It's just so
Mhm.
good. And like it wasn't campy and it wasn't tropey, and like there was no flying saucer, which was kind of cool because you're like it was like a different and like the look of it, and like it cleanses the palate. And like I mean, sometimes too, if I'm feeling real in the mood, I'll do the second one instead, even though like it's totally different. But once again, it's still like a good Alien. But like the first one to me, like of all the Alien movies, like I said, it's probably like the most perfect. Now I'll use that as a talk one there when I'm disappointed inevitably 3 to 4 times a year by these shitty Alien movies you people keep making.
Well, to your point too that you just brought up and we didn't talk about, I'm not going to go back. I'm just saying though, it's funny because like a lot of, as you were saying that, a lot of Alien movies, and again, I don't watch that many of them, but I just thought of one I love, which is Mars Attacks. Sorry, I don't apologize for that.
Great movie for totally different reasons.
For different reasons, yeah. But a lot of Alien movies are about them coming here, whereas this one, like, and all of these two were, like you're going out there, which helps to your earlier, like,
right. Well, to the point, like it wasn't.
But yeah, like a lot of these crappy Alien movies,
they took it in.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of these Alien movies, they're coming here, and then it's like, what but this is just like, no, you're out there.
Yeah.
You're in there, and that's it.
Like it's almost got like a realism to it. Like it's almost it's like if you were out in the bush and you stumbled onto a den of lions or something like that. Like it's just so good. So I'll use it to cleanse my palate, make me appreciate Alien movie again. You're right. We didn't really talk about it, but another reason if I'm feeling in like a Lovecrafty mood, it's almost a better Lovecraftian story than a lot of ones that are actually based on Lovecraftian stuff.
Because it is all about xenophobia, which is what Lovecraft is. Well, anyway, we're not going to reopen the books, but know that there's another episode in there that at some point that we could just talk about the Lovecraft of all of this stuff. All right, John, what about you? When do you get into the mood to throw the OG Alien on?
Oh, it's kind of random. I don't need it for a palate cleanser. It's just there's something that strikes the mood. Like honestly, like it could be just I chat with say our friend Jaime here, and she's like, "Oh, did you see this xenomorph kind of like cute picture here?" And she sent it. I'm like, "Oh my god, I haven't seen that in a while. I should watch that." Like it'll be random stuff like that, or like if I'm talking with any one of our number of friends, or I go into a comic book shop and I just see a piece of art, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Alien! I haven't watched that in a while." So it could be like that, but it's also for me, and it's like I was seeing somebody for a while, and I tried my best to explain this about like it's 70s and 80s movies for me. The best way I can describe it is like comfort food, and there's just some sort of aesthetic. And she was particularly younger than myself, so she didn't really kind of have that same connection to the time period. But it's like, it's a hard thing to explain, but there's an aesthetic and a way they film things and the way they shot things of that era for me that resonates really hard. So it's probably a long way of saying nostalgia, but it's there's a sensibility of movies at that time felt really authentic and genuine that doesn't always happen today. I think it still does from time to time, but like the 90s felt very, very commercial, very, very like for the money. But the 70s, 80s kind of had like for the love of it for me, where I think some filmmakers today more like, say, like a Denis Villeneuve, I think you still get that kind of like sense of awe and sense of like really true love and passion for the format. But that's what it is. When I'm really looking for it, I'll lean back on, say, Alien, Aliens, like Terminator, Terminator 2, like kind of like those really genre heavy kind of movies that it's like, it's very something pure and authentic, and like they just sort of love and passion for it. That
so you mean like a Damien Leone, like a Terrifier, so to speak?
No, you may say that in jest though, but you're not wrong.
I mean, I'm not wrong because I
I totally agree with you. There is a love for that stuff that he has, and it's authentic, and it comes through.
They're director's movies, yeah,
and but it's not even just a director's movie. It's like it goes beyond like we're not trying to make a dollar here. We're trying to make a vision. And like Terrifier, it's not for everybody. I know, Dave, we've had this conversation between you and Jaime and I. It's not for you. However, there's something so raw about it.
Yeah, I can appreciate the craft of it.
And it's so like singly focused that I have a great appreciation for it. And like Terrifier 2, Jaime and I did a wonderful watch along, which was so fun. And if you're into that thing, guys, I totally recommend it. It is great. There's some things that aren't great and it is way too long, but it is super fun. But there is something like Blade Runner, perfect example, another Ridley Scott, very much in the zone. So like when I want to get lost or I want to feel just like kind of chill, it is going to those movies. I just throw them on and I can actually escape. Like Star Wars, the original trilogy, like same thing for me. I could watch it over and over and over and over again. Not so much the sequels and the prequels as much, but even like Labyrinth, Never Ending Story. There's just like all
Back to the
that's
Future.
Oh, Back to the Future, 1, 2, and 3. Love them all. Ghostbusters, like there's just something about that era for me that just really resonates. And Alien is one of those things I'll forever go back to. Even Predator for me. Obviously, we went and talked about Prey. Like it's just very much emblematic of the time.
Oh yeah.
And Indiana Jones also same thing. I'm sure there's somebody with a lot smarter than I that's wrote some sort of like wonderful like thing in terms of what those movies have. But I would even say the people that made those movies back then, the movies they make today, they don't have the same feeling, same vibe. And it's obviously they're different. There's stages of their life though, too. Those folks are way older. But see, like a Damien Leone, just like what Jaime said, even though it's not in the same genre specifically, he's at probably a similar stage in his life that those filmmakers were when they made these movies. So it probably has something to do with that. Probably like the world's it's a wonderful place of opportunity. Things are like the future is bright. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the longest winded way of saying Alien is one of those comfort foods that I will constantly go back to and always feel like it can transport me. And I'd feel so upset for your daughter that.
Yeah, but she has her own. From her
I hope
decades.
so.
I mean,
really
she's too young.
So.
This movie like doesn't hit for her. Like she didn't see it as a child. She saw. I don't know. I'm trying. I can't. Something 20 years ago.
Like
whatever.
High School Musical.
Yeah, movies that have impacted her are different, but they're just as profound to her. One that came out a couple of years ago. Oh shoot! It's her favorite horror movie. Horror is not a huge genre. Her. But what's the one? The woman who was the lead in Covenant was the lead in this. It was about the woman who's getting revenge for her friend who was in college and
promising young woman.
Promising young woman.
I've not seen that one. That
is that movie for my daughter first because it's about the female experience at that age.
Interesting.
But yeah, she has those movies that are speaking very clearly that, let's be honest, that's not a movie that gets commercially made in 1970. It's just not a story that they're willing to bank on. So that's why it's important to her because, oh my gosh, here's my worldview experience being put into a pretty major movie. So yeah, they're there for her. I mean, she's not a big science fiction, but as far as genre filmmaking, that will be the movie that she refers to in her 40s of having an impact on her life, like this had for me. For me, the answer for me is this is my 3-pack. This is one of 3 movies that I watch when Dave's down. I am susceptible to depression, as most of us are, especially in the last few years. But this is a movie I go to. And last week, as a matter of fact, there was somebody on Twitter who asked you know how some of these channels on Twitter, they just ask random questions, either genre questions or who's your favorite or who's all that. Well, the person had asked the question of, who is the director you feel like you would really enjoy having dinner with, alive or dead? And my answer was Ridley Scott, because there are movies, and we talked about this one last year with The Shining. Stanley Kubrick is a brilliant director. I don't want to spend any time with the guy because I don't think we'd have anything to talk about, and I don't necessarily like him as a human.
And there'd be turd in your food at some point. Right.
I know my answer, but I'd just be crying the whole time. So.
Exactly. But, Ridley Scott is a guy who I genuinely I really feel like I would enjoy having a conversation with him. So when I'm at an emotional low, there are movies like this, like John Carpenter's The Thing, and the third one that I would turn on when I'm in those situations. One of the ones that I always go back to is Halloween. So 2 John Carpenters, and because there are themes in there that when I'm feeling specifically and critically antisocial, when I don't like humanity, which is the way my depression usually exposes itself, is I become very reclusive, very introverted. I hate people. I don't trust people, all of that kind of stuff. Well, those are movies that kind of give me a good for you villain that's either not human or not interested in, human values. But this is a movie that I watch and it comforts me. And I can't really explain the comfort of it other than the things that Ridley Scott is kind of speaking about from a social commentary level resonate. And it's same with Blade Runner of when we lose sight of our humanity, there's consequence to that. When we devalue humans, which is what I'm doing in those situations, there is a real consequence to that. You can lose sight of your own soul in some ways. And that's all I'll say about that. But just know that's why this is a movie that I watch 3 or 4 times a year. It's when I'm down and I need to kind of, I don't know if you would align that with a palate cleanser, but I guess it's similar in that I'm trying to reset my own sense of hopelessness with the movie. And it's weird to think that Alien's a movie that draws me out of my hopelessness, but it also, it's just a beautiful story. And it is one that kind of gets me to reevaluate, there is value to the humans around you, I suppose. Especially given the impending secondary choice of us just not existing. So, any other thoughts on Alien? I know I
but
went
what's
down a
everybody
deep
else's
rabbit
director they would do dinner with? I don't even need why. Just the name.
Wes Craven.
Okay, John.
Gosh, this is so, like that's like I got to ask the question like, what are your top 5 bands? I'm like, dude, like, yeah,
I only have one, so that's fine.
Yeah, no, I struggle. I mean, off the top of my head, probably John Carpenter. That's the one that pops up.
Gonna be a really depressing dinner at a Denny's early bird.
I'm gonna shove a bottle of whiskey over the side of the table, and he'll get with it.
He'll loosen up. What about you, Jamie?
Oh, Tim Burton, and I would just cry.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you guys have like met me later in life, but I'm the way I am because of that man.
I'm just
basically.
laughing because I would cry, and I'm like, I could just see him like coming home to his wife, be like, I had the weirdest thing, like this fan wanted dinner, and as soon as I walked in, she bawled, and then like I watched her bawl for 15 minutes while I was trying to eat, and then I was like trying to leave. She was bawling. I don't even know what her name was. She just made weird screeching noises like a barn owl.
If there's someone creatively who shaped who I am, it's that man. So,
and he's still got it. I mean,
to a degree, but yes,
I know he's had some stinkers, but his new Netflix thing.
I haven't watched it yet.
I was going to say, Jamie, have you seen Jenna Ortega's interview about Tim Burton recently?
I don't like Jenna Ortega, but
it's pretty. It's cute. It's cute and charming. She basically just talks about her experience with Tim Burton, and just talks about how he's a weird man.
Hey, he's a weird dude. I love him.
But it's very endearing, and the way she talks about him is very cute.
It's a very millennial perspective, I'm sure.
Oh, I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
It's like, I think, a 10-second like short on YouTube.
I was just like, when I was at my parents' last cleaning things out, we were doing the VHS section, which is hard because like it's also hard throwing all these things away because like we are now living in the age of streaming. You can get anything at any moment. Hence, I don't own Alien, but I see it like 18 times a year. But my sister and I going through these VHSs of like taping it. One tape was Pet Sematary with Sleepwalkers, which was one of my most played VHSs. And like,
oh my goodness,
anyway,
really?
Point being is we were making a pile of what we were keeping, which is very few because you can get everything. And the only ones like I kept was a tape that just said Tim Burton, which I haven't watched because my VCR is not hooked up. So I don't know what's like on it, but it just says Tim Burton on it. And then I kept, even though I have this in many formats, I kept the one that's like, it says, I think Nightmare for Christmas is on there, even though I've owned Nightmare for Christmas in all formats since it came out on. I have a VHS from 1993 signed by Tim Burton on my shelf. It's my most prized possession of my life. But anyway, there's one tape that says like Nightmare for Christmas, Frank and Weenie, and like Vincent all on one VHS before like they start putting it on like DVDs. And anyway, that's it. So like I kept like those two because how could you like throw those things like away? I don't know. But
and he'd probably be a fun dinner date. I mean,
he absolutely he'd be such a weird he'd be quirky,
but he would be you could hold a conversation. He wouldn't be quirky like Stanley Kubrick, like where you're going,
Yeah, where you're
where's
just like
the plug in the back of your head, dude? Because you are not human. Anyway,
yeah, I'm sorry. I took that on a tangent.
that was fun.
Oh, you're good.
That's the way we kind of got around the whole rating system of yes, we're all taking this.
We all love
This
it.
is family because we're family.
Yeah, you made me think about how many copies of Alien I own. I'm pretty sure I own 4 or 5. Like
That's
VHS,
like me and Nightmare for
DVD,
Christmas.
Blu-ray, 4K
Every time they
Blu-ray.
re-released it for a while until now, like I'm done.
Same with Star Wars. I own too many copies of that. Wish I had the laser disc.
So, Eli, what are we going to follow up this legendary, iconic piece of science fiction gothic horror on Campfire Tales?
I just from knowing you people, that everybody likes the Xenos design, but I became concerned. With all that's happening in the world, I'm concerned that maybe you don't know fact from fiction with the aliens coming.
We're going to do another game night.
Oh,
I want to play a game.
Yay!
So we're going to see if you guys could recognize a real alien threat or not. And
am I gonna like just like I start a cult? Am I gonna start like an alien invasion just for my like?
No, you will reveal that you are.
I will be the alien. You're right.
You might actually reveal to me that you are alien because we all know there's always a secondary objective to my games, and there's only ever one winner, and it's me.
Very cool.
True.
So you'll have that to look forward to next week. I hope you're going to be back with us for our Campfire Tales. We do ask you take a little time and subscribe to the show, subscribe on YouTube, and rate the show.
5 stars.
5 stars. I mean, it's 2023.
You're the Mole King.
Do you really want to start off the year by crapping on our little show that we're just here to delight you and to share our lives with you? Is that really the way you want to? Because we'll be monitoring it. If we get any like low ratings right out of the gate in 2023, we might just close up the door. We might just light this whole thing on fire and walk away. So,
if anybody's listening this late in the game and they think about rating anything less than 5, you straight are like hate listening.
Yeah, you're just a sociopath at this point.
Yeah. I mean, that's on them. That's
Exactly.
The type of person that put a shirt on a bear. Am I right, Dave?
Exactly.
No. Putting shirts on the Bears. That's what the Mole Kingdom's going to do.
People come to YouTube and
you don't even
see
know
our,
the Mole Kingdom guy.
see our beautiful faces and our reactions.
Putting a poo shirt on a black bear, that is on a long list of Jack Daniels ideas. I'll put it that way.
I think you are outside of Jack Daniels and into the dollar liquor shelf where they don't really tell you what type of liquor it is, but it's $1.
So if you want to learn more about our show, about my lovely hosts, and about the other kind of things we've got going on, you can go to our website at thewickedwild.com. There's a new book review I just put up there that's germane to the conversation we've had tonight. It's based on the book William Gibson. It's Neuromancer. I had never read it. I'd always heard of it. I knew it was sort of the start of the cyberpunk subgenre. Never read the original book, though. But with everything that's been going on for the last year or so, I figured it was time to dive in just to do my brain the solid of just kicking it over the edge. Fantastic book, but I won't spoil it. Interesting thing, what I did, just to be a little nutty, is I actually prompted AI to write the blog article, and then I spend my time commenting on the article in the third person about what
Shut up. Did you did that?
Yeah, you should read the article.
Oh.
So it's an AI written article about my thoughts on the book that I then critique my own article. So it's like 3 levels of meta. It's a fun little read.
The blog article.
It's a fun little read.
Welcome to the fold, Dave.
I've embraced the crazy at this point. If we've got AI overlords, I'm going to make fun of them while I still can. If you want to follow us and get to learn more about all the doings we've got going on, you can follow us on Twitter. It's our only social media outlet. It's at Wicked Wild We Are. You can also follow us on YouTube. We do have a YouTube version of all of our reviews and all of our Campfire Tales where you can see our beautiful faces and the wacky backgrounds that we throw up constantly, especially on Campfire Tales. But that's at the Wicked Wild Podcast. If you have any questions or thoughts, and my cue to you is to start out 2023. Let's see who our real super fans are. Somebody email me at podcast at thewickedwild.com. I never got that part out. podcast at thewickedwild.com. But somebody who's really feeling squirrely and thinks they're the super fan. Let's see who is. There can only be one super fan. Let's just say that right up front. But somebody write in and tell me what episode the Mole King was first referenced. Because I did
Start of the year, the Mole King.
I was going to say, Dave, you know that answer, though?
I do. I had to do a little testing. It's not what you might think it was.
You had to sit through every episode, that is.
Exactly. So somebody, if you think you know, shoot me an email and tell me when the Mole King was first referenced.
Hey, I'll even throw in a little bit there as the Mole King. Get a seat at the Mole King table. Means you're part of the Mole Kingdom.
You'll get a paper certificate that says you're a member of the
and the membership badge you can put, or the membership card you can put right in your wallet.
Does that come with a secret decoder ring?
We can't discuss that until you're officially a member.
So is that what Herschel Walker was trying to show at that one press conference?
No, he never.
He
Not a million
never
years.
made the cut. Yeah,
not a million years. You got past third grade spelling test.
Any other thoughts or comments? Love you guys. I mean, looking forward to another year of hanging out with you.
I was gonna say that too.
Oh,
welcome to 2023, guys.
We made it.
It's been a good 2022. I mean, we were together for most of it, so
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, we made it through 22, and I can say with confidence. I don't know how you all feel about it. I can say that 2022 was better or easier for Dave because of this project we've put together.
Oh,
it's made my life a lot better.
Just wait till 2023, you're the Mole King, and you're coming along with me to Skinwalker Ranch because we're gonna get the invite. I'm feeling it in my bones. They're gonna invite us.
I mean,
oh man,
I don't want to get way too far ahead of ourselves, and I'm quaking with excitement that we must be doing something right because Hollywood is now catering movies to the Wicked Wild persona. I can't tell you how excited I am, and fans or listeners, I hope you're along for the ride. I am so stoked for Cocaine Bear. I mean, it happens in Knoxville, Tennessee, the city I grew up in, and it's such a Wicked Wild movie. I hope, and I know I've probably spun it up in my own brain to where I'm going to have to be disappointed, but I don't care at this point. Even if I'm disappointed, I am here for friggin' movies like Cocaine Bear. So that's coming in a few weeks.
You're more excited about that than going to Skinwalker Ranch with me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Cocaine Bear is going to be a very special episode, I have a feeling.
Yeah.
Because one of these things is really happening. The other one is not.
And Eli, if I remember right from listening to the Skinwalker Ranch Campfire Tales, the only assignment I had was holding the other end of your greasy rope while you jumped in naked to the lake.
No, I was not naked. In my underwear.
I'm sorry, but tidy whities, when they get wet, you're naked, dude.
That's why they're covered in grease. It repels the water, guy.
Anyway, I can go see Cocaine Bear or I can hold your greasy rope. I'm sorry. It's the option.
All right, fair enough.
And as we start off 2023, we do have one recommendation, and I hate them. I hate New Year's resolutions, but I'm going to give you one as a recommendation. And that recommendation is, Jaime.
Get lost, because it's the only way you find yourself.
Bless up. That's it, folks.